Let me start with a bitter truth. Most people aren't thinking. They wake up, stare into the glow of their screens, scroll through carefully engineered distractions, and spend the rest of their day reacting, not consciously, but automatically. They seek approval from people they don't even like. The truth is brutal. Most people are mentally asleep. They live on autopilot, functioning like programmed machines, unaware of how little control they actually have. And yet, they believe they're in charge, that their actions, decisions, and beliefs are their own. But behind the illusion, they're being silently controlled by fear, by social conditioning, by their desperation to be accepted and liked. But here's where the power shifts. When you understand how most people think, or how they don't, you begin to see patterns. And once you can see the pattern, you can control the outcome. The world isn't ruled by the loudest voice or the strongest body. It's ruled by the sharpest observer, the one who sits back, watches, and moves when the time is right. And just like that, you step outside the system that keeps them trapped. Because once you understand how the 99% operate, you're no longer part of their world. You become calm while others panic. You speak less but with more precision. You act while others hesitate. And slowly, they begin to notice. They don't know what's different about you, but they feel it. It's in the way you look at them, the way you don't rush to respond, the way you observe while everyone else performs. If you want to outsmart 99% of people, start by observing what controls them, their fear, their insecurity, their need for validation. And then, remove those things from yourself. And when the mask finally falls off, you'll see the world exactly as it is. And from that moment on, you'll never see it the same way again. Most people are like leaves in the wind. Something happens, they react. Someone insults them, they lash out. Someone disagrees, they get defensive. But when you observe instead of react, something powerful happens. You create space. Space to think, space to see, space to choose your move with precision, instead of being yanked by emotion. Imagine someone tries to provoke you. Maybe they raise their voice. Maybe they insult you. The average person would snap back or shrink in fear. But you do nothing. You pause, you wait, you observe. In that silence, their power dies. They grow uncomfortable. Their confidence cracks. They're no longer sure of their control over you. That pause, it's not weakness. It's power in its purest form. This is the one-time shift that can outsmart 99% of people. Just one moment of silence, one instance of choosing observation over reaction, and you begin to see behind the curtain. You begin to read people like open books. This shift doesn't require years of training. Just try it once. Choose one situation in your daily life where you'd normally react out of habit. Maybe it's someone cutting you off in traffic. Maybe it's an argument with someone close. Instead of reacting, observe, breathe, wait, let them make the next move. Watch what happens. You'll notice something strange. People begin to treat you differently, not because you said anything, but because of what you didn't say. Picture this. You walk into a room, maybe a meeting, a party, a classroom. Most people immediately try to be seen. They speak louder, crack jokes, force conversations. They try to dominate the room with energy. But you don't. You stay calm, composed, still. You already know who's insecure and who can be easily influenced. While everyone else is playing checkers, you're playing chess. Now imagine you're in an argument, a heated one. The other person is yelling, emotional, trying to get a reaction. Most people would yell back, defend themselves, prove a point. But you pause. You let the silence grow. You don't rush to fill it. Suddenly they feel uncertain. Their anger doesn't land the same way because you're not responding like they expect. Or think about negotiations. Whether you're buying something, asking for a raise, or dealing with a tough client, the power isn't in speaking fast or aggressively. It's in strategic silence. Even in relationships, this works. Emotional maturity isn't shown through arguments and drama. It's shown through restraint. When you don't chase, when you don't beg, when you don't fall apart just because someone else is falling apart, you become the calm in the storm. And that calmness, it attracts people. It earns respect. It shows strength. You don't need status, money, or a fancy background to have presence. You just need control over your emotions. And once you have that, you'll walk into any room with quiet authority. People will feel it. Now that you've seen how powerful this shift can be in real life, you need to know the dangers. Because with this kind of awareness, it's easy to fall into psychological traps. Traps that look like strength, but secretly pull you back into the same patterns you're trying to escape. The first trap is ego. Once you begin to outthink the people around you, once you see behind their masks and predict their behavior, a subtle arrogance can creep in. You start to think you're better, smarter, untouchable. That's where many fall, because ego is just another mask. The second trap is overthinking. Once your mind opens up to these psychological insights, you might start analyzing everything all the time. The third trap is isolation. As you evolve, you may start to feel detached from others, but don't lose your humanity. Emotional intelligence isn't about becoming cold. It's about seeing clearly. The final trap is dependency. You might start relying on these psychological tricks to get your way. But remember this, if you need a strategy for everything, you're still not free. The goal isn't to become a manipulator, it's to become untouchable. A person who doesn't need control because they already have control of the only thing that truly matters, their own mind. By the way, I've got something very special for you. The Sigma's Black Book of Untouchable Power. It's an e-book that holds the forbidden knowledge used by high-level thinkers. But this will be deleted soon. The elites don't want this out. So check the description or pinned comment to grab it before it's gone. So how do you apply all of this? Start small, 1 moment a day, one situation where you pause instead of react, one conversation where you listen more than you speak, one interaction where you observe instead of rush to be seen. Over time, this becomes your default. Calm becomes your weapon. Awareness becomes your edge. Silence becomes your strategy. You don't need to control the world. You just need to master yourself. Because when you do, everything else bends in your direction. Now listen carefully. If you're serious about becoming powerful, join Dark Mindset and control the game. Until next time.